Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning, Deborah Leanne.
Um, this is Deborah with I want to say I'm on the tail end of COVID. It's been 5 days. So you think so if my voice is a little weird, just letting you know, I'm here. I'm in my gene key of being. Would you like to introduce us, darling?
Sure, we are talking about Gene Key number 10. And this is from the Gene Keys book written by Richard Rudd. And this key we're talking about states of consciousness. And this particular key is focused on the being at ease. And it happens through three different states. The shadow state is a lower frequency, which is self obsession. And then there's the gift, which is our humanity and what we can offer, and that's just naturalness. And the acidic state is almost like an etheric state, which is being.
Easier said than done.
Exactly.
So I'd like to just start off by laughing because I think that's one of the primary reasons why we get sick is somehow to get a reset and to get back into our bodies and pay attention to what's going on because we don't. When we're well, we take everything for granted and it's just, head on about our business, which typically isn't about a lot of beingness. It's a lot of doingness. So I've been reflecting the last few days because I've had a lot of time to do so. And it's fascinating to me, even when I am laying prone, how I want to find ways to not be with what's going on, be still and feel because I want to like get over it, and so I'll research stuff on my phone or, oh, that's a good question. And I'll look that up. And then, oh, I need to get this project done. So, or I'll make a phone call to customer service on this other finance thing. I mean, constantly, because my mind is able to think of a bazillion ways to do something versus allowing me to just calm the F down and heal, right? Be still and heal. So, I mean, I remember hearing that prayer a lot. Do you remember that as a kid? Did you ever hear be still and heal? Anyway, so once I keep hearing that mantra, I'm like, oh, so it's okay to just sit and do nothing. Oh, and it just feels so annoying. So I want to just laugh at myself around that and laugh at the timing of this because, of course, we're heading into this beautiful gene key. And the other thing is, I have a question for everyone. What is it that you need to be, or you have to be, or else something's going to go? Like for me, I always found that if I was busy, I was loved. If I was doing things, I was more seen by my caregivers, and then they would give me attention. So, I mean, it was like a way for me to feel loved. And I'm laughing at how we wire these things. So, what is it that keeps you in the doing, or in the self obsession of um, staying anywhere but in the moment? Right? We're processing into the future. We're ruminating about the past. We're busy doing so that we don't have to feel. And I just start noticing how we protect ourselves. I mean, it's beautiful. We learn these great coping mechanisms, but do they really still serve us? Mm-mm. So I have a question. So what kind of self obsession? What does that manifest look like in your life? I mean, Suzanne, do you have a something that you do, or something that you some way of distracting yourself from beingness and naturalness?
Um, I like I like to make things hard sometimes.
Yeah, because then you get to solve problems because you were probably taught that when you solve problems, you're smart and you're valuable and you're, you know,
Yeah. So, I when I was listening to Richard, some things are talking about, we like intensity, we like longing, we like expectation, we like the struggle, we like the toil. We are, sometimes we're a little bit of addicted to that. And we
Okay, we
like,
are.
yeah, yeah. We like those things because we feel like we're getting stuff done, or there's just, yeah, we're moving along, making solutions, doing things. And for me, it's about doing or solving, or, you know, and that sometimes is that striving, or, and I think, um, yeah, I think this key is a lot, and I'm sure you can reflect on this more. Um, it's about your individual journey towards awakening and transcendence, um, into beingness.
Yeah. And because it's my life's work, literally, I think it's all of our life's work, but it happens to show up there in my gene key profile. Um, it has been especially potent for me to notice. Um, because, what was it, 12 years ago, I started working with this teaching feminine presence, which is what being, excuse me. And I laugh because I'm like, it just took me years. I was teaching it. I could teach it very effectively. I could talk about it really well. I could model it, but I wasn't feeling it. And the shift that happened for me when I started going, oh my gosh. I mean, it's all the way down and back and my hips. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then everybody else that's been saying for years, oh, this work is amazing. I'm like, oh, this work is amazing. Really. So,
Yeah.
and the other thing that I find fascinating about self-obsession is it means, that the world is all about me, right?
Mm,
This my life is so freaking important. And everybody else, I'm like, they are all living their lives too, thinking their
yeah.
lives are so freaking important, which is why we have the consciousness level on a global level that we do. So how do
Well, and
we
you have two different ones, right? So you have that repressive nature,
uh
which is the opposite town. You're like completely self-denying
oh,
of
and how many of
yourself.
us know our mothers were like that, or and and I want to say that a lot of us grew up in various religions where you were taught to be that,
Right,
especially women. Be invisible and just serve, just take care of
right.
everybody.
And when Richard says, however, such martyrdom does not have a positive spin and it cannot serve evolution.
Truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and so that's the repressive. So
That's
what's
the
the
repressive. So
reactive?
the reactive nature is narcissistic.
Which of course.
Yeah, such people cannot yield any part of themselves to others, and they live in paranoia that the world or others will somehow rob them of their right to their freedom.
Oh my gosh. So half of our country is kind of living in that space that there isn't room for other people because then I can't take care of me and my family. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a protection mode, I feel,
It is. It is. And I was just I'm just looking at this in comparison to the leadership circle work that I do and the reactive stuff. Every one of those, whether we're protecting, whether we're controlling, or whether we're passive, it's the fear, flight, or fright. I mean, which one of those which one of those do you tend to be your go-to? You know?
Well,
So when I get
yeah,
overly in my self-obsession, I want to control everything or I want to get out of Dodge and just run away. So I don't tend to like stay with and be nice and let other people get what they want because then I can't get what I want is my story anyway. So so here's the thing that's so weird is to me, naturalness is you would think it should be such a natural state that we can fall right into that. Like that's our But my natural state tends to be a little bit more crabby than naturalness. I think the way he defines it.
Well, this it's kind of interesting when you think about it. He says, we are all trying to be who we are, but many of us have been conditioned to be other
Oh,
than
yeah.
who we are. And so, you know, I I love sinking into this gene key because it reminds me that life takes care of itself. It's mm, I guess really um, what I feel when I feel this gene key is a sense of relaxation in my body.
That's what beingness feels like to me.
Yeah.
Naturalness is kind of, for me, it's noticing that I could be more relaxed and allowing myself to be more relaxed. But the true state of like puts me into that spiritual state of being. So naturalness is what animals do. They don't try
Exactly.
to be anything different.
Yeah, life knows
Boy,
best.
these animals, well, it's the mental chatter and the emotional wiring that we all have that has gotten in our way.
Well, and it robs us from the our acceptance of ourselves and our loving nature and our joyfulness and being able to play. I was saying something to someone the other day about playing, because I'm just like, hey, you want to play? And she goes, I haven't played in years. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have
She's,
time for that.
she's were you talking to me?
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time for that. I'm like,
Yeah.
if we can't relax into ourselves before serving others and really understand our priorities and get clarity on that, otherwise it just feels, you know, you're just staying busy.
Well, and you're also
And I'm not saying that it's not important work what a lot
no,
what a lot of
no,
us
I
are
know.
doing.
I know, but I remember leading a workshop once, and one of the women in there totally knocked me out of my center and kind of hijacked the direction of the course because she said, um, I pride myself on being able to get so much done in a day. Like when I have a super full calendar, because I was saying the how we need to leave some space so that we have a chance to, reconnect and check in and see how we're doing. And she's like, oh no, 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 no. I just do better when I just like stay on it. And I'm like, I didn't know how to respond to that because I'm like, yeah, me too. But that's not just because we have done it that way. It doesn't, this is where our mindset needs to shift out of that very Western, logical, scientific, get a lot done. We are not robots. And because we are humans, we need this reset, these pauses, these sometimes getting sick so that you can lay flat and go, oh, come back. This is what it's like to be still. And that's where the brain gets a chance to open so that we get into that creative space where we can be playful and imaginative and imagine a different way of being versus getting so stuck in the really tightly constricted ways of operating, doing,
Well,
doing, doing.
well, it's kind of interesting because well, nature, naturalness, curious. I just think of our natural way of being, and we like stop ourselves from doing that. It's kind of like the obscurity that we were talking about last week, and we keep ourselves from the light,
Yeah.
and we keep ourselves from just letting life in and allowing ourselves to kind of play in it.
Yeah. Let's take a breath here, too,
Yeah.
actually. I just realized that that's one of the ways that we forget. You can tell the moments where we're talking a lot and we're talking fast and we don't. breathe. And I'm speaking for
Yeah.
myself because I really need to breathe.
Well, I was feeling it in my heart, and I just looked up the physiology of this gene key in its heart.
Of
And I was
course.
like, wow, okay, all right, well, let's just put our hands on our heart.
Yeah, and rose oil. I just put some rose uh shea balm on, and I'm like, not that I can smell it, but I'm counting. I can't smell anything, but I'm counting on that energy of that because it's such a heart opening essence. And this is not comfortable for many people to stop and allow their hearts to just blossom, to open, um, to
Yeah.
be the beautiful light that it is. You know, our hearts are amazing, and the wisdom there is, we're just starting to learn about it.
Yeah,
So,
heart wisdom. Each one of us has it. Um, I do want to say that the what Richard says is the natural gift, the 10th gift of naturalness can dawn only when self-obsession is exhausted. It exhausts itself.
oh, that's how
And
you have to get sick. Go to bed.
uh, once you understand that you are neither your name nor your actions, feelings, thoughts, or beliefs, you realize that human nature is something far greater and wider than you ever suspected. And at that gift frequency, the usual manifestation of this energy is an intense creativity coupled with a new sense of playfulness.
Oh, of course.
I
That
mean,
comes from the gift, right?
right, because you are inquisitive. You're like, who am I? And you can look at yourself every time you get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who am I today? I mean, do we really know who we are? I mean, deep
No,
down.
look at how limited we do that. We play those games of, my life has to look like. I was just doing this last night when I wasn't sleeping and this morning about, how do I want to change my life? I mean, I have so many options, and I continue to choose these very narrow paths, and I'm like, that doesn't serve me anymore. And I'm feeling a little bit like I'm spiritually suffocating. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So, yeah. And literally, because it's this breathing thing, right? In my chest and lungs, and I'm like, oh, there's more here. So I'm like taking these deep breaths and playing with that as I was laying in bed. And I'm just curious, there's, how do we play in a way that is um, natural to us? I think we have our society has such a stigma about defining play and what it
Yeah.
has to look like. It has to look like a game, or it has to look like silliness or
Right.
childishness. But what is adult play?
Right. So that's one of the things that I am really contemplating a lot lately is sacred play. What does that feel like to me? And sometimes it is contemplation. I feel that's very playfulness
Hmm.
because I'm dancing around in multiverses, right? I also considered sacred play when I play a game with the universe and I say, okay, show me signs, and I'm looking for various signs that I know are recognition of me asking for them. That feels very playful. I also play literally with colors, lights, and sounds. So to me, that helps my body process all the information and move through it.
I
So
love that.
I I play in lots of different ways. I mean,
Mhm.
and I really feel as a society, the stigma about play, it's almost kind of like the same stigma sometimes people have about love. It's sticky. They don't really know what to do with the word because they don't recognize what it is. So for
And it
me,
doesn't have a home in them. I think
right,
that if we don't have our brain so much wants to have a relationship, like, oh, that that fits here. I know what that is. And if
Right,
you don't have a space for it or a way to categorize it, then it just feels too, ugh,
right. So I'm really, it's more about curiosity
I
and
love that.
being willing to stay curious and open and not having to know the answer. I love I love that, you know, when you reach this state of just pure being, it's like you know nothing. And the things that Deborah and I are talking about today and the way in which we are coming at this gene key today, if we were to record it next week,
Be a whole different ballgame.
whole
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to store it in here.
Oh my God. Are you sure? I used to, I remember my very first, oh man, I was probably in my early 30s. I went to a personal and professional thing, and I went strictly because I was going to like do my professional development, but there was a lot of internal stuff that I didn't want to do. But she was such an amazing facilitator. And I remember thinking, I need to take notes because I was already training. And I'm like, oh, she's master at this. I want to like, so she kept saying, Deborah, put your notebook away. And I'm like, no, I want to remember this. And she just kept, you will remember what you need to remember.
Right.
And years later, I was working with her and facilitating, supporting her in her facilitations. And I remember asking her, I said, that section, that one whole section, I don't remember you ever teaching that when I took this. And she said, Deborah, I teach the same stuff each time. You just don't, you weren't ready to hear it. And I'm laughing because I'm going, I wasn't able, it wasn't even in my awareness, on my radar screen. So it didn't register. Um,
That's
I
funny.
love that. So I have a question around who's the programming partner, and how is there another way to get into this through another channel? Because sometimes we get stuck like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
Okay, the programming partner is the 15th, which is all about I had to snort. Um, it's all about the shadow. It's an eternally flowering spring. The shadow is dullness, and its gift is magnetism, and its acidic state is fluorescence. So if you can imagine your naturalness is magnetized. I mean, you magnetize people to you just from you being you, authentically you, right? And so that's the gift. And so you don't have to work at it. I'm getting a lot of beeps over here. You don't have to work at it. It's just you showing up in all of yourself. I mean, there's so often times, and I'm saying this from my own experience, that we hide parts of ourselves,
Hmm.
you
And
know?
that's like putting the lampshade on, which creates a dullness, right? Less light comes
Exactly.
through. So it's kind of like you've got this, to me, it's not true either. It's like dishonest almost because we're like not honoring.
Right.
Um, yeah. And of course that's, I have that one as well because it's my evolution. So, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, if you learn this, then you get to go back here. Oh, okay. So,
Just
so tell me again the two gifts. I know naturalness and
naturalness and then the magnetism,
oh, because
right?
then when I'm in the in my natural state, I am the more magnetic, and then I get to create more of that and attract more of that in my life.
And
Okay.
so, and think about if when you're in the acidic state, your beingness, fluorescence. Think about the light that's emanating from fluorescence.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And that's, you don't, listen, you don't have to work at this. This
I
is
know.
who
I
you
know. My
are.
mind goes, oh, that's big. That's a lot of work. No.
It's like the
It's
opposite
funny how
tell.
that would be the first thing that crossed my mind. Thank you
Well,
for answering
that's
it.
the funny part. Okay. I just want you to just feel this in your body. Moving from the state of doing or self-obsessing to freedom, friendship, and slowing down.
Mm. So
Just
here's
feel
the
that.
mudra.
Yeah, the
The
mudra.
mudra is you take your hand, your one hand, and you place your other hand on top, like you're having a handshake. But when the two hands clasp, and you can go either way, um, notice that there's a little space in between the palms, and this is called the treasure box.
Oh,
Isn't that amazing? So this is being. And I think about it, it's the being and the doing. You get to have both, but it's in the center of that, or that energy between the two palms, which is where the juice is. I'm going to cry.
mm, it's okay.
I'm just going to hold this for the rest of our conversation.
Okay, good. Yeah, how are we doing on time? I'm going to read this one section. I think it's something that Richard said that I just really resonated with. It's not something it's in the gene key, but it's really talking about the acidic state of true being. It's the beauty of the moment and the utter acceptance of what is.
Mm.
It stops seeking. It's the gentleness in being. There is no need for teachers, and there's nothing to do. There's no agenda, and it's utterly content with neutrality. It's it knows laughter, and it's like uncarved simplicity.
Oh, those words just stuck out to me. Thank you for bringing them forth. I just played with contemplating uncarved simplicity for quite a while because it just sounds so, I don't know, powerful, potent, like something you could really like. There's so much potential there, right?
Absolutely.
Creativity,
Yeah.
uncarved simplicity. Wow. Do we
Un
need to even add to that, or can we close here? Oh, you were gonna draw. Are you gonna draw a
I was
card?
going to draw a card, but I have 3 decks, and you choose 1, 2, or 3.
Let's do three today.
Okay. Ah,
Being
you
patient.
chose. That's funny.
Joking.
Well, you chose the Work Your Light deck.
I know. Have I been
I
hanging out with that one lately, or what?
Oh, if we get that card again, I'm going to flip out. No.
Since
Okay.
Suzanne last week drew the Unbound card,
Yeah.
we drew it again in another School of Light convening, and then she drew it again as a personal guidance yesterday or something. And I just laughed. I'm like, I guess we
Like,
still need to play with it.
guess we're unbounded. Unbounded. Forever unbounded. Okay. So what do we need to know this week? All right, Deborah. Top, middle, or bottom?
Middle.
Whew, okay, good. It's not that one. Ah! All right. Let me grab um, the meaning. Okay. So, my friends, this is all about breaking the chain and ancestral patterns and healing, and it's about rewriting the future. Don't take this stuff so seriously. Okay, so this is you are being called to heal your family line or free yourself from living the life of your ancestors. This could mean letting go of an old pattern of your maternal or paternal line, healing trauma from the past that is not even yours, or observing old ways of being that no longer serve you. We carry emotional trauma in our luminous field for up to 7 generations back. This is why family patterns can be the hardest to break. Often, they're not even ours to begin with, but we do not know another way of being, so we continue playing out the drama. The thing to notice when ancestral healing comes up is that you cannot heal another person, but your own healing can cause another person to choose to heal. Energy is freed up. Now you are being guided to look at your life and decide how you want it to be. What ways of being or patterns are you ready to free yourself from? What part of your future do you want to rewrite? Now is the time to shake them off and dream a new future into being. So, this is the action on this card. What old ways of being from your family line are you ready to let go of? Seek assistance from your support team, whether it be tribe, friend, healer, coach, etc., to begin freeing yourself now.
Oh,
You go, chain breakers. Mm.
yeah, that's a big one to be with.
Yeah.
And
But
um,
remember being at ease in it. So, not taking it so seriously, but recognizing, yes, the space in between, your beingness is natural. You're not meant to be anyone else other than you.
yeah, in fact, we need everyone to be themselves right now. That's what's weaving together the emerging whatever epoch
Yeah.
that we're heading into,
Yeah.
or that we're already in, or whatever, but that's unfolding around us. So thank you, darling.
Thank you for
And
being.
to everyone that watches it in the time frame, happy solstice and Christmas and however you Boxing Day, all those other things that people celebrate in the next week.
Many blessings. Till next time.